Hey, folks. Argentina's economy is on the brink of collapse, with the peso in free fall and debt piling up to the sky. But guess who's swooping in to save the day? Donald Trump himself. On September 23, 2025, Argentine President Javier Milei met Trump in New York, begging for a massive U.S. bailout to stop a financial meltdown. Is this a lifeline for your savings or a deal with the devil? Stick around as we break down this high-stakes drama. The crisis, Argentina's economy on the ropes. Let's set the stage. Argentina's economy is a ticking time bomb. The peso has been tanking, losing nearly 10% against the dollar in just weeks. The central bank burned through $1.1 billion in reserves in 3 days last week to prop up the currency. That's right, $1.1 billion, gone, just to keep the peso from hitting rock bottom. The country's risk index, tracked by JP Morgan, skyrocketed to 1,500 points, double what it was a month ago. For context, that's screaming default risk louder than a foghorn. And here's the kicker, Argentina faces $15 to $20 billion in debt payments by mid-2026, including $8.5 billion to the IMF alone. Without cash, it's game over. Why is this happening? Milei, the self-proclaimed radical libertarian, took office in December 2023 with a chainsaw, literally, promising to slash government spending and tame Argentina's infamous inflation. And he's had wins. Inflation dropped from an insane 289% last year to single digits in 2025, the lowest in 5 years. The government even posted a budget surplus for the first time in ages. But the cost? Brutal austerity. Public health, education, and subsidies got gutted, leaving 31.7% of Argentines in poverty, down from 54.8%, but still a gut punch. Unemployment spiking, and the stock market, the Merval, is the world's worst performer in 2025, down 30 to 50% in dollar terms. Ouch. The political storm fueling the fire. It gets worse. Milei's political grip is slipping. His party, La Libertad Avanza, got crushed in a key Buenos Aires election on September 7th, losing by 13 points to the Peronists. Then, a corruption scandal hit his sister, Karina Milei, accused of taking kickbacks from drug companies. Investors freaked out, thinking Milei's losing control ahead of the October 26 midterms. If he flops there, his reforms, like keeping the peso stable or cutting more spending, could crash and burn. Congress is already rebelling, overturning his vetoes to restore funding for universities and hospitals. The streets are boiling too, with protests like the Federal University March on September 17 demanding more social spending. This political chaos sent markets into a tailspin. Argentine bonds dropped 20% this year, and the peso hit 1,120 to the dollar on the official market, way higher on the black market. The central bank's reserves are so low, they're barely enough to cover a few weeks of imports. Economy Minister Luis Caputo said they'd sell every last dollar to defend the peso, but with only $20 billion in reserves, half tied up in an IMF loan, they're running on fumes. Enter Donald Trump. The Trump-Milei meeting, a lifeline or a trap? On September 23, Milei met Trump for 20 minutes on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly in New York. Trump handed him a printed copy of a Truth Social post calling Milei a fantastic leader with his complete and total endorsement for re-election. That's not just a bro moment, it's a signal. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who joined the meeting, promised all options are on the table to save Argentina's economy. We're talking loans to the central bank, direct peso purchases, or buying Argentina's dollar-denominated debt using the Treasury's $219.5 billion Exchange Stabilization Fund. This is huge, it's the same fund the US used to bail out Mexico in 1994 with $20 billion. Bessent called Argentina a systemically important US ally and said any action would be large and forceful. No exact dollar amount was confirmed, but Milei hinted at very advanced talks for $15 to $20 billion to cover debt payments through 2026. The markets loved it, the peso jumped 4% against the dollar, bonds rallied 2 to 3 cents, and the risk index dropped 300 points overnight. Milei took to X, saying, "Huge thanks to Trump and Bessent. Long live freedom, damn it." Even the IMF's Kristalina Georgieva chimed in, praising the US for supporting Argentina's stabilization and growth. Why Trump cares, geopolitics and lithium. Why is Trump so eager to help? It's not just because Milei's his favorite president. Argentina's a strategic player. It's got massive lithium deposits, key for batteries in the US's push against China. Plus, Trump wants to flex US influence in Latin America, especially after slapping tariffs on Brazil and warning Venezuela's Maduro. Supporting Milei, a right-wing ally, fits Trump's plan to counter leftist governments in the region, like Colombia's. There's also a catch. Argentina renewed a $5 billion currency swap with China in April, raising eyebrows in Washington. A US loan could pull Milei closer to the stars and stripes and away from Beijing. But here's the skeptic's take: this bailout isn't free. The US could demand tighter alignment or economic concessions, like opening Argentina's markets further to American firms. Critics on X, like opposition leader Maximo Kirchner, are already screaming that Milei's selling sovereignty by begging for dollars without congressional approval. And history shows Argentina's no stranger to debt traps: 23 IMF loans since 1958, owing $44 billion today. Is this rescue just kicking the can down the road? The big picture, hope or hype? Milei's bet on Trump is a high-stakes gamble. The bailout could buy time to push his free market reforms, like zeroing out grain export duties to flood dollars into the economy. The World Bank's also chipping in, fast-tracking $4 billion for mining and energy projects. But Argentina's been here before: decades of defaults, hyperinflation, and IMF loans. Milei's lowered inflation and cut deficits, but recession's knocking, and 31.7% poverty isn't a win. If he can't win votes or keep markets calm, this rescue might just be a band-aid on a broken leg. For you, it's about survival. Whether you're in Buenos Aires or watching from abroad, this crisis screams one thing: protect your money. Diversify, save in hard currency, and stay informed. Argentina's economy might be a roller coaster, but your finances don't have to be. What do you think? Is Trump's bailout Milei's salvation or Argentina's next debt trap? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I read every one. If you want more tips to shield your wallet from global chaos, smash that like button and subscribe. Hit the bell so you don't miss our next video on surviving economic storms. Share this with your friends, they need to know what's coming. Until next time, keep your money safe and your eyes on the markets. Long live financial freedom, damn it.